Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sister Change. As always, we're your hosts, Tammy and Martine, here to bring you exciting conversations about making events more planet and people conscious.
And today we're talking about one of the most ambitious and always inspiring event series in human history, the World Expos. Officially known as the International Registered Exhibitions, but also known as World Fairs, and is regulated by the Bureau of International Expositions, BIE.
The World Expos are a global gathering of nations dedicated to finding solutions for pressing challenges of our time by offering a journey inside a universal theme through engaging and immersive activities. These mega events allow countries to build extraordinary pavilions and transform the host city and welcome tens of millions of visitors.
From the Eiffel Tower, which was the centerpiece of Expo 1889, to futuristic mobility hubs and vertical farms, World Expos have always been about pushing boundaries. But there's one boundary we're paying close attention to now more than ever: planetary limits.
Exactly. Today, we're going to be taking you on a journey through the history of World Expos and how sustainability has evolved from a small piece of the event into a central design pillar.
So cool. So let's jump right in and rewind back to 1851. The very first World Expo was held in London, called the Great Exhibition. The exhibition was spearheaded by Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, who saw the tremendous value of an exhibition showcasing Britain to an international audience.
He had so much faith in this that he even chaired the Royal Commission and hosted a competition for a building design for the exhibition, which ended up selecting a massive glass structure designed by a greenhouse builder, which later became known as the Crystal Palace.
The exhibits on display at the Crystal Palace included scientific and technological marvels from many different countries, as well as works of art and craftsmanship. About 6 million people attended the exhibition, which earned a significant profit. A fund that was created with the profit still provides fellowships to British students in fields such as engineering and industrial design.
These expos were a way for countries to demonstrate progress, power, and vision. Over time, they became platforms to exchange ideas on culture, science, and design. With that said, you're probably wondering about sustainability. Back then, it wasn't even a topic for conversation. The focus was economic growth and industrial marvels, not environmental stewardship.
So, fast forward to the mid 20th century is when you start seeing the themes shift. Expo 1967 in Montreal began incorporating a focus on growing awareness around urban planning and architecture, but sustainability still wasn't front and center.
Right. It wasn't until 1994 that the BIE General Assembly adopted a resolution guaranteeing that all expos have a commitment to the supreme importance for humanity of due respect for nature and the environment. I personally think that the 1990 Expo in Osaka was the turning point for starting to plant the seeds since their theme was centered around, quote, the harmonious coexistence of nature and humanity, which makes me so excited to be attending the expo in Osaka this weekend.
That's awesome. I can really wait. And you'll be bringing back a special feature for us, right?
Oh, absolutely. Be on the lookout for a future episode in the coming weeks.
So cool. So, but for now, back to Expo 2000 in Hanover, Germany. This one was a game changer where they focused on the theme of, I quote, humankind, nature, technology. Sustainability was officially in the spotlight, not just thematically, but structurally.
Hanover 2000 was one of the first expos to integrate environmental performance into its infrastructure planning, including green building standards, reduction strategies, and energy efficient design. Switzerland's pavilion, for example, was built from 45,000 planks of non-aged wood, assembled completely without glue. Japan's pavilion was built using a paper tube technique with recycled paper from Germany.
Oh boy. And Approximately 155 countries from around the world gathered around this theme, which was split into several sub themes, including environment, energy, mobility, knowledge, information, future health, and nutrition. Truly, the first time in the Expo's history where environment was incorporated into the pillar of the event.
With 35 past expos and Japan ready to launch theirs this year and Saudi Arabia next 5 years, let's take a bit of a closer look at more recent expos and their focus on sustainability.
Yes, let's talk about Expo 2010 in Shanghai, which has been the largest expo to date with the theme of, I quote, Better City, Better Life. As the first city from an emerging economy to host the expo, preparing for the expo allowed them to focus heavily on urban restructuring and green development within the city.
Yeah, and that brings up a key issue that we discussed heavily in Paris Olympics post Games episode regarding legacy planning. The preparation of Expo 2010 Shanghai was to incorporate a legacy plan into the Expo site plan from the very beginning, something that we saw in the Paris Olympic strategy as well. And according to the plan, most of the newly constructed buildings were indeed transferred to new owners as planned.
Most of the buildings actually ended up serving as museums and exhibition centers, with a requirement of them being open for free to the public. Unfortunately, the criticisms around the results in the first few years after the expo was that the metro stations within and nearby the expo site were closed due to nearby construction and limited passengers accessing these cultural facilities.
However, in comparison, the former World Expo Cultural Center, which was converted to the Mercedes-Benz Arena, had exceptional commercial success. It actually provided live performances for up to 18,000 visitors throughout the year, and its diverse cultural and sports activities also attracted young people and families to visit. And then also the Italian Pavilion is now an exhibition center to showcase Italian arts.
Meanwhile, the real leap happened with Expo 2020 Dubai, which actually took place in 2021 due to the pandemic. Sustainability was one of the three main sub-themes of the Expo 2020 Dubai. It aimed to be one of the greenest world expos ever and set a new benchmark for future world expos.
They really pushed hard on carbon emissions monitoring, solar powered infrastructure, and zero single use plastic policies across the entire site. I personally think that the most impressive part of their legacy plan was that more than 80% of the Expo's 2020's infrastructure is built to last and has been transitioned into a human centric smart city named Expo City Dubai that you can actually visit now.
I also love that Expo 2020 Dubai featured a women's pavilion to highlight trailblazing women. The UAE is a leader in gender equity, ranked first in the Middle East and 24th globally in the Georgetown Institute for Women, Peace and Security's 2021 WPS Index.
Super cool. It's so great to see how far we've come as a global community through these expos.
Absolutely, Tammy. Today, world expos are adopting frameworks like the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. You'll find pavilions aligned to SDG themes like clean energy, responsible production, and climate action.
Plus, more and more cities are using circular economy principles, rethinking waste, extending the life of materials, and designing for modular reuse after the expo ends.
And let's not forget community impact. We're talking equity, accessibility, and inclusive design, which are just as important as solar panels and green roofs.
Absolutely. So now let's think about what's next. With the upcoming Expo 2025 in Osaka slated to open this coming weekend, I can't wait to see how they embody their theme, quote, designing future society for our lives.
We're expecting big things. Expo 2025 Osaka actually received the ISO 20121 certification last August and is aiming to be carbon neutral and focusing on a circular economy plan. Japan's also planning to power the expo with carbon neutral energy, such as that from hydrogen and
Um,
ammonia power generation.
That's such a huge focus on data-driven sustainability monitoring. So this expo could set new benchmarks, not just in messaging, but measurable impact.
Exactly. So, if you're a sustainable events planner, a student of global culture, or just someone who loves seeing how ideas scale, World Expos offer a fascinating lens into how we define progress.
And more importantly, how we can make that progress sustainable and equitable. Because innovation without responsibility is no longer innovation, it's just noise.
Exactly. Let us know in the comments what expo inspired you the most, and are you planning to attend Expo 2025 in Osaka?
And if you are, let's connect and chat more about your experience. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of our sustainability deep dives. Thanks for sipping with us, and we'll see you next week.
Until then, keep making conscious choices one sip at a time. Bye.
Bye.